tool, Partner Search. And so you can look on the MSCA Staff Exchange's call, which is actually currently open, and you can look under this tool to see if there are partners that you may be interested to work with. In addition to this tool, our own national MSCA national contact points, they have a project, and as part of that project, they've developed a matchmaking platform. So I invite you to its MSCA Net matchmaking platform, and I invite you to have a look. It covers staff exchanges, but it also covers other actions as well, including postdoctoral fellowships, doctoral networks. So it can be useful for other actions as well.
Okay, great. And what are the success rates for postdoctoral fellowships, for example?
So for postdoctoral fellowships, it varies a little bit, obviously, depending on the number of applications we receive per year, the budget that we have, so the number of projects that we can fund per year. But overall, it always fluctuates between 13 and 14% success rate. So the 2020 call that was under Horizon 2020, we had a success rate of just over 14%. We received over 11,500 applications, and we had a success rate of around 14%. For the first call under Horizon Europe, we've received just over 8,800 applications and a success rate of 13.8%. So this shows you it varies a little bit, but it tends to be within that range.
Okay. I think the next question is actually for me. Where can we find presentations, questions, and answers of this webinar? Indeed, as we have mentioned in the previous ones, in the previous sessions, all the videos and all the recordings of this webinar will be put online on the website where you found the link for this webinar. So from the europa.eu website, where you're now watching us live, at the end, we will add the recordings and the presentations. So the next question, if I want to learn how to organize the work of a research center under higher education institutions outside the EU, should I apply for MSCA or ICM as administrative staff exchange? So this is a bit of a cross between...
Maybe we can jointly reply to this, but for MSCA, our staff exchange action focuses very much on international and intersectoral mobility, and the objectives are both in terms of the research activities. MSCA is about excellence in research, as well as about developing, fostering collaborations between organizations and transfer of knowledge between at international level and at intersectoral level. So it really, I think, the Erasmus Plus action will have a slightly different objective, and so it really depends on what you want to emphasize in your project.
Yes, and I suggest that we will take maybe this question again our next ICM session, because we had one this morning, but we will have another one at 3 o'clock. A repeat of the overall presentation, but obviously the questions could be different. So maybe our colleagues from the ICM team can reply from their point of view. So the next question: can a partnership include non-European countries? This could be extremely useful for our doctoral network program.
Yes, I mean, Gérard mentioned it a little bit in his presentation in the video already, but MSCA is open to the world, so there are possibilities for non-European countries to participate. The level of participation, the type of participation will depend on whether the country is is associated to Horizon Europe or not. If the country is associated to Horizon Europe, then they have the full, they can participate just as much as an EU member state. If the country is not associated to Horizon Europe, then there will be specific conditions to participate, either as associated partner in a project or for under certain conditions, sometimes as beneficiaries. If, for example, Gérard was giving the example in his presentation for doctoral networks, where beneficiaries can be third countries from low or middle income countries. There is a list in the program guide, the Horizon Europe program guide. So again, I invite you to have to go through the document to see the complete list of low and middle income countries that are eligible for EU funding directly. So you could be part of who could be a beneficiary in MSCA.
Thank you. The next question is, when is the next expected deadline for doctoral networks?
Well, for doctoral networks, it's extremely soon. It's the 15th of November. So yes, so in a week, if I'm not wrong. There will be, it's always, for doctoral network, it's annual calls. So there will be another call, do not worry, in 2023. This one, there will be more information communicated about it later on, once we've adopted the MSCA, well, the Horizon Europe and MSCA work program for 2023 and 2024.
Okay, and Robert is asking, 14% gets approval and can join. So what would be your tip to be successful?
Well, it's. I would say you really need to have a look at the call's description and at the work program of the MSCA for MSCA postdoctoral fellowships. In the work program and in the call, you will have the award criteria. And so just like most programs under Horizon Europe, the calls for MSCA are evaluated, the proposals submitted to the MSCA postdoctoral fellowships are evaluated on the basis of 3 criteria. Excellence, which is worth 50% of the, weighs 50% of the evaluation. Impact, which weighs 30% of the evaluation, and capacity, implementation capacity. And under these 3 criteria, you'll have specific sub-criteria for MSCA postdoctoral fellowships, and really this is what will be evaluated when you submit a proposal. So pay very much attention to this and develop your project, your collaboration with host institutions, either your main beneficiary or your associated partners on that basis.
Okay, and one very concrete question. I am from Palestine. I work as an academic lecturer with an MSc degree. Should I apply for a PhD as an individual or by partnering with my hosting university? What's best?
Well, the thing is, you cannot apply for, under MSCA, you cannot directly apply to us for our doctoral programs. You would need to apply to a project already, that have already been selected. So I would look at the vacancies on ERASMUS and have a look at what is open in terms of doctoral positions. Yeah.
And is an experienced researcher who has been awarded a grant under a co-fund fellowship program a Marie Sklodowska-Curie Fellow?
Yes, completely. Yes. It's just in terms of how the at what stage and how the researcher is involved in the application itself. So the co-fund action, it's the organizations that submit an application that is evaluated as excellent, as exceptional by at EU level, and they can then implement the project. And when they recruit researchers, they are fully, whether it's doctoral or postdoctoral researchers, depending on the program they're setting up, they are indeed Marie Skłodowska-Curie fellows, yes.
Okay. And do PhD candidates for a doctoral network have to be selected before applying for MSCA or after winning the project?
I've slightly answered that question just before. But yes, for doctoral networks, no, it comes after. Once the project is selected for funding, then the different organizations, beneficiaries that are recruiting researchers will open vacancies that will have to be published on ERASMUS. They can also be published elsewhere, but there is an obligation at least to be published on ERASMUS, and that's where you apply for those positions, and you apply directly to the organization that have posted that vacancy, the organization that will recruit you as a researcher.
Okay, I think we might have answered all the questions. I don't see any more questions. I'm gonna allow a second to see any more appearing. But if they don't, famous last words, there is one more. So, will all sessions of Erasmus Plus activities, morning and evening, be available afterwards in the website? We are interested in the Q&A parts as well. Yes, so we will certainly put the videos and the recording of the event, and then we will do our best to add a Q&A documents. This was also asked before. It might not be all in the same place, because obviously it depends if you're, if the session was about the generic international dimension of Erasmus or specific about international credit mobility. These Q&As might be in the specific area of the website dedicated to this. But I will, we will definitely do our best to include these documents. And in any case, if you can't find the Q&A documents, as I said, this event is recorded, so you will be able to watch it again if needed. One more question. Can you tell us more about the formation of networks and cooperations among universities? How does it work?
Well, under MSCA, and MSCA is very much a bottom-up program. So, we essentially it's very much the universities. That would also be true for non-academic or research centers organization, but it's very much up to them to develop those networks and cooperations, and among them. That said, there are various support networks that I mentioned before, matchmaking platforms and so on, to find partners when you're missing a link. And once you are successful in your project, obviously the objective of the MSCA program is to strengthen those collaboration, both in terms of research collaboration, but also training for the researchers as well. So when you are developing your network for an MSCA project, thinking about international collaboration, thinking about interdisciplinary as well, networks and cooperation, including among universities, and also thinking about, that's beyond the question, but thinking about the intersectoral collaboration is important to have a strong application, and then for the project to deliver the objectives of the MSCA program.
Okay, great. And should higher education institutions have an ongoing doctoral program to be eligible to set up a joint doctoral program under MSCA? Should it be ongoing?
No, there is a minimum number of organizations in so joint doctoral program. This refers to just to put it in context, but this refers to under doctoral network, MSCA doctoral network. We have the possibility of 3 different types of doctoral programs. One is a standard doctoral program. The other one is an industrial doctoral program where the fellow has to spend at least 50% of their time in a non-academic sector. And finally, we have this option of doing a joint doctoral program. But for the joint doctoral program, no, there is no requirement to have an ongoing doctoral program, but a number of beneficiaries must be certified to be able to give the award the diploma. And this, for the details really of the conditions, I would invite you to look at the call that's currently ongoing, or at our work program as well. So you'll have the full details of those conditions.
We have one more question. I think you partially answered, but maybe we can repeat. Can I apply for a postdoc individually?
So MSCA postdoc fellowships is our only action where, yes, the researcher applies at the stage of EU level evaluation. So it applies. So the researcher, he or she, applies directly to us with a host organization. So yes, you can apply as an individual, but you must have a beneficiary, a host organization in an EU member state or in an associated country to host you during the postdoctoral fellowship. But it is the design of the research project, of the objectives, of the methodology, of the training, the way that you see it. Contributing to your career development. So the actual proposal for postdoc fellowship is very much driven by the researcher herself or himself.
Okay, thanks. That was very clear. I don't see any more questions. One more. It's a magic word, so you just trick me into thinking that there are no more questions. So, hello. Our specific research sphere that MSCA funding include?
MSCA is open to all fields of research. Again, it's because at the core of the MSCA is this bottom-up approach. We've always been open to all research disciplines or research fields, domains. So all our actions are open to all disciplines, from humanities to philosophy to social sciences to physics, chemistry, engineering. We cover everything. And actually, recently, in case that's quite a very niche one, but in case of interest, we've under Horizon Europe, we've developed this partnership with Euratom research and training program, and so it's now possible under MSCA postdoctoral fellowships to propose a project that is covered under the Euratom program, which was the only thing that was not possible previously.
Okay, good. I'll allow for a couple more seconds to see if there are any more questions, but this time I don't think there are. So just a reminder that this session will be repeated again at 4:15 Brussels time. The main presentation will be the same. The questions might vary depending on the questions that we get, of course. And so this session concludes the morning part. And we will see you again at 2:30 for a repeat of the 3 sessions that we have had so far. So an introduction to the international dimension of Erasmus+, international credit mobility, and then again Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions. Thank you very much.